Hello everyone, welcome to the jurisprudence series of Legal Darshan. So far we have discussed rule of law in Indian context. So today we are going to talk about the judicial system in India. As we have discussed that there are three separate layers in a legal system. One is executive, another is legislation, and the third one is judiciary that interprets the law, that protects the law, and so on. So we will start with the court system, or we can say the hierarchy of courts in India. As we know that there are district courts, there are high courts, there are supreme court. So the matter first goes to the magistrates, the police level magistrate, which inquires about the matter and try to solve the case out there. Then the matter, if it falls under the ambit of certain conditions, it goes to the district courts. And further, if the appellants want to proceed under special conditions or circumstances, they can go for high court. And then there is supreme court, which is the last destination for a decision in India. Supreme Court is the apex court of the country, and matter goes before Supreme Court under special conditions only, under several conditions as mentioned in our constitution. Also, a decision made in Supreme Court can only be challenged again in front of the Supreme Court. So we are quickly moving to the hierarchy, when and where, how the matter goes before several courts. So when a matter, so there are two kinds of matter. We have civil matters or criminal matters. So the first stage where the matter goes is the magistrate. There are two magistrates, civil judge magistrate and there are criminal magistrate. So the civil matters like the contract, the torts, when the contract is breached or there are compensations required. So the matter which have penalty or compensation up to 3 lakhs, they go before the magistrate. The magistrate are the police level inquirers, which they have the power to inquire over a matter and dismiss it and give decision accordingly. And if in the criminal side, if the punishment for an offense is up to 3 years, the matter can be brought before the criminal magistrate first. So this is how the magistrate layer works. Next layer is of district courts. So when a civil matter is costing between 3 to 20 lakhs, the appellant can apply to district court. He can also apply to civil side of district court when he is not satisfied by the orders of the magistrate. Same goes in criminal side also. If at the magistrate level the appellate is not satisfied, he can go against the order and apply in the district court. And the minimum sentence, if the matter is original, if the matter is new before district court, it has to be an offense whose prescribed sentence is above 3 years. So this was a district court layer. Next we come up to high courts. In high court, when the party to the case is not satisfied by the earlier decision made in either civil court, civil magistrate or district court, the matter can be brought in before high court. And when the matter is original, the suit is original, in civil cases it should be more than 20 lakhs of the amount of the compensation of the damage or the amount of contract or tort or whatever the civil case, right? And if the matter is original, it can also be brought under the writs, article 226 of Indian Constitution. When the fundamental right of any citizen, any individual is breached, he can apply to high court under article 226. So this was about high courts. When a matter from high court moves to supreme court, it can move under the ambit of several situations, such as appellate jurisdiction. Appellate jurisdiction is when appeals are made under the constitution, special leave petition or statutory appeals are made. And in the case of original jurisdiction, a person can directly approach supreme court if his or her fundamental rights are violated, and he can claim for the remedies under Article 32 of Indian Constitution. Election disputes, the matter of election disputes are taken as original jurisdiction under Supreme Court of India. Advisory jurisdiction, Supreme Court provides advisory jurisdiction as well under Article 143 1. Also, curative petitions are also filed under Supreme Court of India. The cases where the appellants or the respondents to the party are not satisfied by the decision of High Court, they can directly move on to Supreme Court. Also, if a decision, as I have told this earlier in the video, if a decision is already made in the Supreme Court, it can only be challenged in the Supreme Court. There is one more thing I would like to add. The decisions laid down in Supreme Court act as the precedents for all the lower courts, and the decision laid down are binding to all the lower courts in the similar matters. So this was about hierarchy of courts in India. When we talk about courts, advocate constitutes a major part of Indian legal system. Since our system is an adversarial system, the approach is adversarial, advocates play an important role in our system. So to govern the rights of advocates, how they are enrolled, what happened to the advocates when they commit an offense, or how they are enrolled in bar council, what are the functions of a bar council, etc. For knowing these, we have to know about the Advocates Act 1961. So let's quickly move on to our next topic of the day, Advocates Act. Advocates Act 1961. The Government of India in 1955 constituted 14th Law Commission 1958, which in its report thought to provide a reform in judicial administration. The report wanted to bring out a comprehensive approach for the legal profession in India. So it served the purposes like amending and consolidating the laws regulating to legal practitioners. It provided a uniform qualification code. Prior to the Advocates Act, different states have their own eligibility. The courts had power to enroll advocates. After Advocate Act 1961 was implemented, there was a uniform qualification code. It took off the powers from court to admit and enroll the legal practitioners. The most important thing, it established the Bar Council of India, which is a federal structure for enrolling the advocates. It provided a general guideline or a rule book or a constitution for all the state bar councils. So Advocates Act, what has done, let's quickly summarize it in the points given below. It provided for the admission and enrollment of advocates. It gave certain guidelines. It laid down the standards of ethics for advocates, of how they should conduct professionally. It safeguarded the rights and interests of the advocates and legal personals. It exercised general control and supervision over state bar council. So now there was an authority above the state bar council which was guarding, which was controlling and supervising the state bar councils, which was obviously our federal structure, bar council. It aimed to promote legal education through seminars, workshops, symposiums, etc., so that the legal profession, the quality of legal profession in India can be improvised. Also, there was a rule laid down under Advocates Act for the election of the members. It allowed disciplinary committees to be formed by several state bar councils and laid down the procedures to be followed by them. Also, when BCI was established, there were its members. So the ex officio members were Attorney General of India and Solicitor General of India, and all the states from their existing councils elected one member each in the Bar Council of India. Now when we talk about the classes of advocates, so there are two classes of advocates. One is the senior class and another one is the newly qualified class. So BCI and state bar councils take care of all the enrolled advocates and safeguard their rights and interests and also supervise them. Now, who is eligible to be an advocate? It is given in section 24 of Indian Advocates Act. A citizen of India is eligible. However, if there is a foreign national, he can also be enrolled in bar council provided that his or her country has duly approved it. The age must be minimum 21. The degree must be obtained from an institute which is recognized by BCI. The candidate must fulfill the rules prescribed by State Bar Council and pay the requisite amount of enrollment fee to State Bar Council. The amount may vary for different categories. However, if one person has enrolled in a state, he cannot apply in another state, but yes, the transfer is possible. So when section 24 talks about the Advocates Act, the eligibility of an advocate to be enrolled, section 24A talks about when an advocate can be disqualified from his or her enrollment. So if an advocate is convicted for an offense of moral turpitude or an offense under Civil Rights 1955, he or she may be disqualified for 2 years, and after 2 years they have to reapply for the enrollment. However, if the person is found guilty but he or she has dealt with the provisions under Probation of Offences Act 1938, the provision will not apply. So this was about the enrollment and disqualification of an advocate. So a person who has breached or who has illegally practiced in the court of law before authorities, the provision for penalty are contained in section 45 of Indian Advocates Act. This penalty may increase to imprisonment of 6 months also. There are also rights and duties granted to state bar councils. Section 10 empowers state bar council to form disciplinary committees and executive committees, etc., with 3 members, 2 of which should be senior member and 1 can be newly qualified member. Also, section 15 empowers the state bar councils to make certain rules for themselves under obviously ambit of certain rules and regulations. So this was all about Advocates Act. We have talked about what is Advocate Act, how did it come into existence, what are its function, how it governs the right of advocates, the classes of advocates, eligibility and disqualification criteria, certain provisions that are granted to state bar councils, penalty, etc. So this was all for today's video. In our further videos, we are going to discuss Lok Adalat, the legal aid system in India, the sources of law, etc. for the topics in this series. Please stay tuned, and if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.